I had no heat or hot water for almost 3 weeks. So after Christmas, I ran out of propane in this house, and not a big deal. It has like 3 heaters in the main areas, but they're all pretty spaced out and they don't equally heat up the house. There's a heater in the bathroom, my bedroom, and the dining room that's next to the living room. But the dining room area and living room are so big that that one heater doesn't heat it up that well, even at its highest setting. And so I was freezing. Not to mention there was no hot water. So I couldn't shower or wash the dishes or even wash my clothes. And that was kind of a problem. So during those 2.5, almost 3 weeks, I was going to my grandmother's house to take showers, but I couldn't do any dishes, which was kind of a problem. I had called my mom to let her know, and she contacted the propane company to get it all settled, because she figured it was the end of the year. We probably ran out of propane, which is not a surprise. We get an order of propane about a week after my mom places the order online, and for some reason after that, I still can't use the heater or the hot water, and it's not because we don't have propane anymore. So my mom calls the propane company, lets them know. They said they'll send someone out, but it'll take like 10 to 17 business days. My mom calls me back to let me know, and she's like, don't worry, I'm calling them again because that's not okay. And so she calls them again and says, hey, my daughter's living up there. She needs heat and hot water. It's freezing. And so they're like, okay, yeah, no problem. We can get someone up there tomorrow morning. She doesn't tell me this. For someone who has a horrible sleep schedule, that's vital information. I didn't go to sleep until 4 a.m. that morning. And so she calls me at 8 o'clock in the morning. She's like, hey, they're going to be there in 10 minutes. I'm like, okay, I have to get up now. I'm struggling to get out of bed because I did not have any forewarning. I have like 2 minutes to get dressed, and I'm still laying in bed. My mom calls me again. She's pissed. I'm not outside. I'm not talking to the guy. I need to be awake and out there. I'm like, okay. I'll go out there. I'll talk to him. Just give me a second. And the guy's there. He's already looking at the thing, and I'm like, cool, do you need me out here? He's like, nah, but I'll let you know if I need you to sign something. And I'm like, awesome. I feel like I woke up for nothing. This is gonna need a part 2. So there I am inside, awake for seemingly no reason, and the guy comes and knocks on the door, and he's like, hey, I'm gonna need you to turn your heater on. And I'm like, awesome, I will try it. So I do, and what do you know? It works! I'm super excited at this point. He's like, awesome, good to know. Here's what's wrong with it. So apparently the gauge was set too low for how cold the ground was getting, and so the propane wasn't passing through it. And it was set at like 9, and it needed to be set at like 11 or 13. Don't ask me, I don't know what those numbers mean. But apparently those numbers mean that I no longer have to worry about freezing to death at night. So I get really excited. I call my mom. He's already leaving. I didn't have to sign anything. I don't have to feel like my life is on the line by signing a piece of paper regarding propane, which is great. I call my mom and I let her know everything. She's like, awesome. Are you going to try the hot water heater? And I'm like, yeah. And here's the thing. I was really resistant to wanting to try getting the hot water heater going because I have to sit crouched on the ground pressing buttons until it starts, and I had tried it so many times before my fingers were aching at the thought of doing it again. But alas, I will have to get the hot water heater going if I want to start showering in my own house again. So I go out at a random time and I start trying to get it going, but it's not working. I'm getting real flustered because I don't know what to do. But then suddenly I remember my mom looked up videos the day before and she sent me some stuff that she thought might work if it wasn't an issue with the propane. So I try it, and what do you know? All I had to do was press in a little button that wasn't supposed to be sticking out, and voila, I got the hot water heater going. I was so excited. I called my mom and I was like, listen, you need to hear this. She's like, what? And I'm like, I got it going. I got hot water. She's like, that's great! Now leave me alone, I gotta work. Now, in order to get to this success, I had to do something I swore to myself I would never do being in this house, and that was going under the stove. And you might think, wow, that sounds a little weird. That's a weird sentence to say you have to get under the stove. Yeah, my mom has an antique stove that's literally from the 50s, and you have to get under it to turn it on so the propane can flow through and actually be used to cook things. I swear to myself I'd never go under there because I'm afraid of it crushing me. But same day the propane guy comes, I do it, I try it, and I get it working. It's the scariest thing ever. It like blows up in my face, it feels like. It's terrifying, and I never want to do it again. But I did. I had to crawl under my mom's stove to get the propane over to that side of the house so that I could turn on the water heater. And I was terrified and swore to myself that I would never do it again, but I did. And it's not all that shocking. I got real tired of cooking stuff in the oven because it was meant to be cooked on the stove and it just wasn't coming out the same way, and I was getting upset with it. So I started using the stove, but it's a chore getting up from the floor after putting my face under there, and I'm terrified of spiders and spider webs getting in my face. But I've done it like twice. It's not a big amount. It's only twice. And yeah. An important tidbit I left out of the previous videos was how I came to find out that the heater and propane and hot water heater were not working how they should be. I was in the middle of taking a shower. I had an interview the next day. I was also dyeing my hair, and so I was washing it out. I just conditioned my hair because my hair cannot function without conditioner. And lo and behold, the water turns to ice. When I tell you this water is ice, we're in the mountains. This shit is ice cold. Like, it hurts. I had to wash my face after the interview with no hot water, and I got a brain freeze. That's how cold the water was. It gave me a brain freeze just from touching my skin. And I call my mom, and I'm like, hey, hot water's not working. This is the first time it's ever happened, and I'm terrified. She's like, it's cool. Hot water heater's outside. It's nighttime. It's like 30 degrees outside. I need to throw on leggings, freshly out of the shower, put on my robe, and go out to the hot water heater in my slippers and be like, how do I fix this? We spent like 10-15 minutes trying to get this shit done, and I'm terrible. I don't know how to do it. I don't know what's going on. But it starts up again, and I'm like, sweet, nice, awesome. I can go wash this out of my hair, and if it goes out again, then you know what? I don't have to worry about it for a few days. Wrong. My mom forgot to instruct me to turn it from pilot back to hot. So the hot, even though the light was blinking, the hot water never actually got turned back on. And I had to rinse my hair with ice cold water. I don't think I did it well enough. I'm for sure I did not rinse my hair well enough. But yeah, and that was the start of how I had no propane or hot water for almost 3 weeks. It was a journey.